What's up, everybody? I know, can you believe it? Twice in one day. No way. Breaker, breaker. Okay, goofiness is over. Maybe. I'm trying to get the cats in here so you can see somebody, but nobody's coming yet. Hey, Gabe, come here. Shay, come here. All right, we'll work on it. All right, for those of you who care, who have asked, pets update. Shay is the new arrival. He had lived outside for 2 years. I saw him over the last 2 winters, God help me. And when he started coming to my back door in January, in the middle of winter, I was like, I gotta help this cat. And my current cat, Gabe, come here, Shay. Come here, buddy. Come on. Say hi to the nice people. He's gonna come up on the couch. Come here, Shay. Come here. Come here, buddy. And when I got Shay, come here. Well, maybe. Well, first he's gonna destroy my ottoman, my expensive ottoman, but it's okay because my other cats already destroyed it. So when Shay got here, he was a mess. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Say hi to the people. Come here. Say hi to the people. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Yeah. Want to say hi to the people? Say hi, people. Okay, so when Shay got here, he was a mess because he had lived outside for 2 years. I finally got him this summer with the help of my neighbor Rose, and down he goes. So now he's right next to me here on the couch, and Rose is the master at catching the cats and getting them in clean up. So I may have mentioned that I've given her money for a couple of different cats, including the cat Dolly, who was pregnant and ended up having 7 babies once Rose brought her in, or maybe 9, because she had to have them by C-section. She never would have survived outside. So I contributed to that, I'm glad to say. And I contributed to Shay's rescue. And then when I met him, I was like, I can't let this cat go back outside or go anywhere else. But Gabe has been having a hard time with it, and I'm working on him. And so I actually did pray to Spirit a couple of days ago. I said, please send love and juju, good energy to Gabe so that he knows this isn't meant to replace him, and please send energy to Shay too, and help him to understand that Gabe is the senior cat and deserves some of those perks. And honestly, the last couple of days have been better, have been more peaceful. So I guess if I'm preaching that prayer moves energy, which I am, even when I have trouble believing it, then I see the results myself, and then it's like you come back around. You're kind of renewed. Your own beliefs are renewed. Because sometimes when preaching this stuff, you include everybody but yourself. You know what I mean? You're trying to be what's the word? You're trying to inspire people, but sometimes you don't always take care of yourself when you need to in your situation, in your family, but my little fur family. And so I'm working on Gabe, and it's coming. He seems better, so we'll keep at it. I'll try one more time. Hey, Gabe, want to come here, buddy? Come here, Gabe. And they've even been in the same room. Like, Shay likes being on the couch. Gabe has never liked being on the couch, but Shay was on the couch last night, and Gabe was on the floor right by him. And so, like, they're learning to cohabitate gradually, and that's my hope. Right, boy? Right, buddy? On the outdoor wildlife front, Erin Squirrel, did I mention this before? She broke into my apartment a couple weeks ago. She shredded one of the screen windows in the old 3-track windows, the triple track windows. She shredded it, and she came in through this big hole, and then she got nuts and stuff, and then she was freaking out because she couldn't figure out how to get out, and that's when I discovered her, and eventually I managed to open the door, and then she popped outside. So now, and ironically, Rose, my neighbor, helped me fix that screen, but I still have to keep the window closed now because they popped it open a second time. I couldn't believe it, even with a new screen. Like Rose said that this was like a pet-proof vinyl or plastic or something that's supposed to keep them out, but it didn't work. They put a little hole in it, and then they popped the bottom out anyway. So that window will just have to stay shut. There's just no way around it, even though it's hot here now. Not hot like the rest of the country or the world. I mean, this is July in Buffalo, so it's about 80 degrees right now in the early evening, and it will be for, well, probably most of the next, month or so or longer. But it's a reminder of, well, certainly the climate change. It's really kicking in now. We're really seeing the effects, and I may have said this in a video before too, but I advise friends who live around here, if you're going to buy a house, buy it now, because I seriously expect a northeastern migration in the United States over time. I think that some of those communities in the Southwest and South are going to become unsustainable if they're places that rely upon water sources that are drying up and there's no other source, like, in a desert. That's just not going to be sustainable in 10 or 20 years. And so I expect, and Jean Mayall is a psychic who has predicted this sort of migration away from coastal areas as sea level continues to rise, and we experience the effects of global climate change that can't be avoided now, even if and when we reduce emissions. Of course, unless there's some assistance from some kind of alien technology, or some of the technology like that I read about that involves, and even Kim Carey commented on this in one of her videos about, there are bacteria now that they've discovered that can eat plastic. And I'm sure that I've mentioned this in the video before, which is amazing, because that really kind of goes against what science thought was possible. They never conceived that there would be, a form of bacteria that would actually be able to consume inorganic material, like plastics, and then like essentially excrete organic material, and thereby clean the environment, much the way that trees do. Trees take in carbon dioxide and emit oxygen, so they're like natural filters, cleaners for the world that make it sustainable. All amazing, really. Ingenious, and then I wonder, how much of that is in the sort of design of the world by the creator, and then how much of that is maybe other alien civilizations that have come here to drop DNA into our gene pool, or drop DNA into our animal and wildlife and our plant life in order to help the world be sustainable over time. The Earth may well just be a huge engineering project between God, spirit, and aliens. So I hope anyone who's watching this isn't watching me for the first time, because I imagine it sounds like I'm talking goo goo gaga crazy talk, but you folks in the know, you know. So thanks for being here. So that's all not on today's subject, which is reincarnation. I was having some thoughts about reincarnation that I wanted to share, and they kind of end up relating to my dream from last night, in an indirect way, in some of the dreams I've been having lately. I was thinking when I got Shay, who is right here by my side. Want to say hi again? Oh, you can't see him. Nope, he's too low. But he is happily couched, and tail is flapping happily. When I got him, once it took about a month to get him over the hump of being petrified that he didn't know where he was, or if this was his home, or if he was being held here against his will. And then once that month passed, now he's just like a love boy, and it's been really great. And when that happened, I noticed that he has many qualities like my first cat, Jean, who died in 2018, and who some of you will remember from my first book if you read it. So this is my third cat. Shay is the third cat. Jean was my first, and they've all been rescues. And Jean, he had a few very particular things. You know how they all have their ways of being, things that they like and don't like, the way they like to be pet. the sounds they make when you, come home out of excitement or when it's time to get fed. And it's very funny because Shay's voice is very similar to Gabe's, and he makes a lot of the same like sounds of joy and excitement when it's time to get fed or he's getting attention. So when that started to happen, I thought, geez, what if Shay was Jean reincarnated, as the psychics say sometimes happens? And then I noticed that he likes to be pet in a very similar way to Jean, but not not the way Jean initially liked to be pet, the way that Jean liked to be pet later in his life, once he and I were further along in our relationship, because he grew to be 16, and he would let me pet him almost everywhere except like his lower belly he didn't like. And it's almost the exact same thing with Shay. He loves having his ears rubbed, which Gene grew to love. He loves having his nose scratched, rubbed, like I'm doing right now, and under his chin and down his back and his upper chest. He just loves it, and he'll even kind of flop, which goes against his nature. Whereas Gabe has always been a flopper, has always liked having his belly rubbed from the moment I got him. And so and like now that Shay's hair, all of the hair, his hair was all matted and nasty when he came in, and I cleaned him up and everything, but he had a bit of a scent. And now I have noticed that since he's been here and he's been eating like a wolf, he has completely filled out. His hair is all new. His coat is amazing and shiny and short, just like Jean's was. But of course, he's a different color because he's a red cat, orange cat, as opposed to Jean, who was all black. But so his behaviors remind me of Jean. So I started thinking, well, geez, what if he is Jean, right? But then I had almost a whole other set of thoughts. I thought, even if he is Jean, like literally, he's not Jean, because right now he's 3 years old. And when we come back, there's a reset. You have a different body. You have a different set of circumstances. I'm a different person than I was when I got Jean, all those, like basically 20 years ago. So even if he was Jean, he's totally different because he doesn't know he's Jean. I mean, maybe at some level he would know he was Jean, but he's relearning the world with a new body, and so his experience of the world is unique to him as a newer being, and my experiences with him are unique to where I am at this point in my life, 20 years later, after my first cat adoption, which I never expected to have any cats or any pets, let alone 3 now. So that's the way, fate finds you or whatever. But yeah, nice doing a bit of grooming. So what I decided was, the realization I came to is, even if he is Gene, I'm not going to think about it anymore, and I'm not going to pretend that he is or wonder if he is, and I'm not even going to ask if he is, because if he's not Gene and I start treating him like he is Gene or that he's the same being, it's the wrong thing to do, because he's not the same being. Even if he's a continuation of a previous soul, he's a unique new being to himself. And so the point that I'm extending to people is just the same, that when people wonder about their previous lives, when I wonder about mine, I mean, I've gotten little bits of information from the psychics, but I don't really know how much I need to know about my previous lives, because this life is the one I'm living now, and the experiences that are unique to me from living in this very specific point in history, this very specific country, this very specific planet, this very specific language, all of which may be new experiences for this body, this version of me in a body, that to compare it with any other previous or future existence is almost not, it's, I mean, you can do it if you want to get some sense of where your soul has been. But I don't know how important it is to know that in this incarnation. And it also points to the uniqueness of every incarnation we have. Like the experiences that I've had in this life, 50 years on this planet, have been so wide and vast. And I hope to have many more years of experiences. But like when this life, this incarnation ends, I mean, whatever comes after will be completely different. Because if I were ever to return to Earth or incarnate on another planet and I have a body, or a human body or another type of body, maybe an alien body, whatever that form is will be the vessel through which I experience the world. Everything from my height to my eyes, whether my eyes are good, my ears, assuming I have hands, like, do I have skills with my hands? Like I've learned here in this life, like learning to play guitar and learning how to sing, like all those things will be set back to zero in a future incarnation. Unless of course we retain some of that sort of, the memory of that, like where they talk about virtuosos who are 70 years old and they can pick up music immediately because they say it's a continuation kind of a previous life. And I suppose all of that is possible, but it's still a uniquely different human being, or any kind of being starting again from zero. So, talking in a circle, and as it applies to Shay, I am treating him like a new being, a new young being, whether he's Gene or not, because it would be unfair to him to pretend that he's Gene, or to even treat him like he's Gene, because this vessel, this soul is having its unique experience as a new 3-year-old cat, and it's a new world to him. And so the rest kind of falls away and doesn't really matter. So again, it points to, we're so temporary, and yet, so it's kind of like everything in our lives is super important and super not important at the same time. Like we feel very attached to our experiences and our families and our friends and our jobs or the things that we love to do, or our pets or where we live. Like we feel very tied to it, and it's super important and it means everything. And then yet somehow at the end of life, it's kind of like we're not erased, but we go back, the soul goes back into the soup of souls. And we have to shed everything that we were and have here. And there are days that is not a problem for me mentally, and then there are other days when it absolutely is, and I feel like, oh my God, I'll be begging for more life, clinging to life because I don't want to lose what I've got. But like it's just like the inevitability of time strips certain things away, which was kind of alluded to in the dream that I had last night that I already mentioned, described in my other video from earlier today from the undisclosed location. So I'm not sure I have much more to say about it other than that, just to pause, perhaps to acknowledge and appreciate the uniqueness of your experience, where you are at this very moment in time, in this very body that you have, in this life, in this historical period that we apparently chose to come to. We apparently chose to come to Earth in this time of like an astrological cycle crashing down, and the collapse of all the old systems in a very painfully protracted way, but which supposedly, and I do believe, leads to the kind of like the rebirth of the planet into the age of Aquarius. And aligns kind of the planet with its intended path and leads to a more just and equitable future, but through fire. And quite literally in the case of global warming. I mean, if we get some assistance from, say, aliens in the next, say there is an alien reveal on a large scale in the next 5 or 10 years, and they help us to clean up the planet, it's not going to be a paradise overnight, and it's going to take a lot of work and building. But if it leads to optimism and a sense of renewal and sense of shared purpose that the world seems to be lacking in its divisiveness right now, then that could be a kind of paradise, even if life is still hard. Like, I mean, if places in the world do become uninhabitable, coastal regions or certain regions are simply just too hot to live in anymore, yeah, like it's going to be, okay, see ya, buddy. See you in a bit. It's going to be not a cakewalk. So it's not as if we get to, we arrive at a place that is ever made perfect. I don't think Earth ever gets perfected, but we will, I feel confident, beat down this authoritarianism. This is the growing pains of like this planet right now, to get over the hump of this selfishness that results in an authoritarian mindset, a me, I want everything, and I want everything my way, and I don't care if I'm the minority, I'm going to be loud, and I want what I want, because I can't tolerate other people living a way that is different from my own. I wish to render the free will of other people obsolete, because I can't. I feel threatened if everybody doesn't live exactly as I do, which is a ridiculous mindset, and it's gonna go extinct. And it is an old patriarchal energy, and we're seeing it die slowly. But it's dying, but it's slow, and so it sucks. And all these things that are happening, I mean, you name it: COVID, climate change, like autocratic movements, frickin' monkeypox, inflation, economic strain, supply chain problems, trying to get over the hump and get to a more green economy. Like all these obstacles, like everything just feels really heavy right now. And I think that's how it is here at the end of this big cycle, the crash. And then, God willing, we will start to really truly see the beginning of the optimistic, the upward trajectory. We will begin to feel that in our hearts more too, and hopefully not very long. The Aquarius may have already begun, or it depends on which astrologer you ask, or may begin in the next couple of years, or certain planets have already moved into it. I don't totally understand the astrology, but I believe that what others have said too, that we're experiencing a 2 steps forward, 1 step back type of progress right now. Like January 6th Commission is huge. That has had a tectonic shift. I really feel that way, and I believe too that the Supreme Court overstepping its bounds has created a gigantic reaction, and I do expect what the main psychics have predicted. I do expect the Democrats to gain seats in the fall. I do expect the codification of abortion on a national level. It's in some way. I do expect either added Supreme Court seats or replacements for the stolen seats by the GOP. I do expect a code of ethics for the GOP or for SCOTUS justices to be passed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, on and on and on. So you've heard me say this before, so I'll stop there now. So yeah, just to close on the theme, reincarnation. Even if we come back, even if a cat comes back, it's never quite the same. The circumstances are never quite the same. And so as much as you can, try to enjoy where you're at, when you're at, and who you're at, if that makes sense. And that's my message for today. And thanks for watching. If you would like to support my artistic efforts, you can go to my website, robfalgiano.com. I have CDs available. I have books. I have a book available. And otherwise, you can like, share, subscribe, refer me to a friend if you like, and please comment because the comments are where all the fun is. Okay, so be well. Take care. See you soon.